realize that's happening, and it'll actually keep multiple copies and show you who has edited that copy last and when it was done. Like most other server type programs, you can set permissions for what people can do. You don't necessarily need to give everyone permission in your Groove workspace to delete files. Permissions are very easy to set. A great feature, though, is you can even include people that are outside of your business or your company to collaborate with you. All they simply need is the Microsoft Groove program installed on their computer. So let's show you how Groove works. So here's Microsoft Office Groove. This is the launch bar for Groove, or like the base program. And again, I've mentioned the word workspace a few times. This is Groove's form of different sections or different projects. What we do here is every time we're going to work on a big project, we create a new Groove workspace and invite all our users that are going to be needed to that workspace. So I'll go into a workspace that we've created for managing our monthly webinars, and you can get the idea of what Groove really looks like. So you see on the left-hand side of the screen, here's just our files and folder list. You can make lots of different subfolders and lots of different other types of items in Groove. And putting items in there is as simple as dragging and dropping them in there, or going to File and then choosing Upload. You'll notice that all these files are displayed just like they would be if you're looking at any files through my computer or through Windows Explorer. Scrolling right, you can also see who the last person that modified them was. Opening up a file is as simple as double-clicking on it. It's just like if it was being opened through my computer. On the right-hand side, you can see the members of your Groove workspace. You'll see that it's showing me actually in the workspace. It's also showing Brett out there. He's not in the workspace, but it does show that he's online, which is a great little tool for actually knowing when your users are there and available. The reason that is because by simply right-clicking on this user, you've got the option to send them an email, which will open up whatever your default email program is, like Microsoft Outlook. You can send them an alert to come see you, and that's actually like a little pop-up chat message that'll come right into the Groove program. Groove is something that when you install it will auto-start when your computer's running, so that message will just pop up down in the system tray by your clock that Brian wants to see you. You can add people to your contact list. You can, again, send them an email. And you can manage other things right through here. You've also got a chat feature built into Groove, so you can use this as your communication tool when you're working on different projects. You've got the ability to turn on and off unread message alerts. So say Brett edits one of our presentations, Groove will actually pop up a little message for me saying that there's unread data in our monthly webinars Groove site. But Groove can do a lot more than files. You can manage a discussion space, which is kind of like having your own message board for this specific and individual project. There's lots of other tools, though, as well, and I'll show you what some of those tools are. You've got the ability to have a calendar, again, just for managing appointments. You can actually do chess. That's something a little fun to, take some of the work out of work. You can just do a custom space, which would be like importing, inputting your own columns and information, lists, things like that. Again, we've seen you can do discussions and files. You can also create forms that are fillable in here. You can create meetings, and what a meeting is it's its own little type of item that you can have a meeting agenda on. You can have action items on. It's got a space for inviting people to a meeting and spots for actually keeping the meeting minutes. A notepad, obviously a simple text editor, and you can put pictures in there. And you've even got like a little drawing tool or a scratch pad, kind of like a whiteboard that other people can manage. So again, Microsoft Office Groove, great little program for people on the go. This can of course be used while you're in the office. It can be used while you're out of the office, and again, people in your organization, or it's not limited to people just in your organization. Anybody who's got email access and the Groove program installed can be invited to a Groove workspace. There are no limits to how many Groove workspaces you can have, so it's a great tool. Recommend everybody checking it out. Some other new solutions out there for workers on the go, a couple you may or may not have heard of, are Microsoft Office Live and Google Apps. Now those work in pretty similar fashions. There's a lot more to Google Apps than just the common productivity tools, but that's what we're going to talk about today. These are basically online versions of the common Office applications like word processors, spreadsheets, presentation programs, your email programs, database programs, you name it. There's different levels of them. Some are subscription-based and some are free. And they can also provide online document storage. So when you're editing your online Office Live Word document, that document can be saved online too. And that keeps it in one central location. These companies have huge data centers and redundancies, so your documents are going to be safe and backed up online there. Real neat programs, and we see them coming along quite a bit. But the con right now is, unfortunately, they can't integrate into your management system. Now, Windows SharePoint Services. Mentioned this a little earlier, and we've also done a webinar on this recently, and you can access that webinar by going to our YouTube site. Windows SharePoint Services is a intranet program for keeping information, in one easy-to-manage location. It's basically your company's own private website that sits on your server, where you can do things like, maintain your procedure manuals, company announcements, departmental procedures, vacation calendars, links to carriers, and so on. It's easy to set up and maintain. There's no web programming knowledge required at all. It's fast and easy for remote users to navigate through, since it is just a website. You can delegate permissions to different users, so you don't even have to have one user stuck managing the whole thing. As you set up different sub-sites for your different departments, you can delegate that out to multiple users, and it's all done through a point-and-click interface. But the best part about it is it's free. All you need is to have a Windows 2003 or a Windows 2008 server and download the free program from Microsoft's website. The installation takes about 20 minutes to an hour, depending on how fast your internet connection is and how fast your server is, and then you're up and going. So not just a tool to think about for using in the office, but good for remote users too. All right, so we've talked a lot about just individuals on the go and what kind of productivity tools out there for them. But now let's get into the remote offices. Whether that be 1 user, 5 users, or 50 users, most of these things are going to apply no matter how many you have or how many remote offices you have. So typical connectivity options for remote offices. The best thing to have is a point-to-point line. Now that can be a point-to-point T1 line or another direct fast data connection. And what that does is it provides a direct connection between the offices without the need for a VPN. Because if your remote office only has a point-to-point T1 line, they don't have an internet line. What they have is essentially it's like a slower speed network connection just between the offices. The benefit of that versus an internet connection, though, is it's a lot lower latency or delay in your connection speed. People usually look at just the upload and download speed when they're talking about an internet connection or a T1 connection or a point-to-point connection, and that's part of it. Once you make the connection to where you're at, that's how fast it can pull the information down. But if you're dealing with a remote office connection, you'll see in a couple slides that a lot of that information is really being processed at the main office, and what's being transmitted is just what's on the screen or what you're typing. So a remote office connection is going to greatly benefit from a low latency connection because there's lots of little back and forth requests and responses. It's not so much a constant download data stream. So that's about a point-to-point T1 connection. You can have point-to-point T3. There's